Hey there, and welcome back to this third video in the series on getting back into shape after an extended break. Now, one thing I want to say before I get to the actual playing, and that is the things that I'm doing for me. And I want you to see the big picture in what I'm doing. I may do things that are less comfortable for you, and that's okay. You should be doing what's comfortable for you. If I go to a range and you feel like you're really struggling, go ahead and stop. You don't have to do that. I'll have some more advice on that later on in this video, but pay attention to your own body. You don't have to do what I'm doing, but if you look at the principles that I'm looking at and find things that work for you, do that by all means. Now, onto the content for this video. Welcome back to day 3. Now, as you can see, I have already warmed up. So if you haven't warmed up, go ahead and do a 10-minute warm-up at this point. This session is a 30-minute session, and I started it 10 minutes ago. Well, exactly 11 minutes ago. So we have 19 minutes left, and I am not going to set the clock back because I think rest is important. I'm going to talk for 30 seconds. Today, the goal of the day is expansion. For me, as I'm making this up as I go along, I am expanding. I'm going to expand. Up the last few days, I've been very comfortable doing things that are very comfortable. Today, I am comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Now, being uncomfortable and experiencing pain are completely different things, and I don't want to be misunderstood. If you experience pain, stop or do something else. But a certain amount of discomfort at this point is not unusual, and that's what we're going to be doing because we are expanding. The first thing I'm going to expand with is an exercise that I learned from a horn player in New York named Stuart Rose. One of my favorite exercises to do at all because it employs both flexibility, well, slow flexibility, shall we say, that idea of dilating and contracting the aperture. Here's how the exercise goes. I'll play it once for you. We are going to start off in second position and we're going to expand. First we do eighth notes, expanding, skipping over one partial. And here it is. Now. Triplet, going up one more partial. Now I skip over two partials. And expand again. Skip over three partials. Jump 2 octaves. Now, if you're watching it, great. You can go back and play along with it. I'm going to keep going into sixth position. Here I go. In and off. Good. What I love about this is that we're floating up to the top, not pushing, not yet. We will, but not yet. We're still floating. Up another half step. And, may jump, we'll see. I may jump in the video. And another half step. And, step. 1, 2, ready. One again. And I'm going to do that last one again and sit on that top E flat just a little bit. Okay, that wasn't awful. Let's keep going. 1 and now lastly, on our middle B flat partial. And one not be partial position. Now 1 and doesn't feel very good. But you know what? That's okay. It doesn't have to feel good. It's uncomfortable, but it's not bad. All right, I'm going to take 30 seconds to say one thing. I used the term partial, and I shouldn't have used the term partial. I should have used the term position, and I corrected myself, because obviously we're going up by positions. However, one little word about partials. They're misunderstood. The fundamental, our main note, our fundamental note is a pedal B flat. There it is. The first partial, or part of that fundamental, is actually half the wavelength of the fundamental. The first partial is low B flat. Second partial. Third, fourth, fifth. Terminology matters. Scientists look at fundamental and partials, or as being overtones. So I encourage that language. I know sometimes people talk about the fundamental being the first partial and the second partial being a low B flat. That's not, I'm just going to provide a correction for that and say that is not how we look at it. So first partial low B flat, fundamental middle B flat. Okay, good. What does that have to do with what we're doing? Nothing. I'm giving myself a 1-minute break to be able to free up the squeezing of the flesh between bone and metal. This is hard stuff. All right. We expanded on the upper register in a floating way, but now it's time to expand in an engaged way. The sound I want as I do this is an engaged sound, a clear sound, a brilliant sound. So if before I was floating, I instead now want a bit of a sizzle, a little bit of a bite on the top note here. The exercise I'm going to do is going up 5 notes. We're in E flat major, going up 5 notes, and then air attack the top note 5 times. You know what? I'm just going to do it. Here's what it sounds like. Repeated notes are air attacks, and I'm thinking of columns of air. Da da da, and I'm going to go up chromatically. I don't have much time left. I've got only a little less than 8 minutes left. So here I go. E flat major first. 1, 2, down. F. extra rest here. 2, re, no. Little extra rest. 2, next one, now. Oh boy, that was hard. Okay, I'm gonna go a little further tomorrow, not today. But what I will do now is start my way descending. Same thing, same kind of brilliance in my sound. If I had to quantify it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being my most brilliant fortissimo sound, I'm going for, say, a 6 or a 7. So it's actually, anyone who's seen the low register series, this is an exercise that we've done in the low register series, and you'll hear it. I'm going to go ahead and crescendo down from the B flat to the low F. Down. Again. And down a half. Next one, M. Last one, M. All right, now, I have 2 minutes left. But you know what? You know when you're done. You know when you've done enough. And I've done enough. So I'm not feeling bad, but I'm feeling it. And I'm definitely feeling like I've had a workout. So I'm going to come back later today and do another 30 minutes. Since I've warmed up, that warming up will not be part of it. So come back in just a little bit for you in about 5 seconds, for me in a few hours. See you soon. And welcome back to this second session today in our third day of getting back into shape. First session I felt really good about. I really expanded myself in terms of my volume, my timbre. So I really got my aperture to go from being smaller in that comfortable mezzo forte kind of range to pushing myself to that forte, even a little bit closer to fortissimo volume. And that was good. I also pushed myself up in the upper register. I'm going to do a little bit of work with that today, but today I'm going to focus on endurance. And for this, we're going to need an Arban book. And since the kind of things I might be doing could make me stiff, I'm also going to have available that favorite Robert Marsteller basic routines. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and open up my Fourscore file here and pull up my Arban just to have it ready to go. Even if I'm not using it quite yet. Let's see, let me go to my set lists and practice important. And there is Arban right at the top, so excellent. I'm ready to go with that. Okay, good, but let's go ahead and start off by doing our noodle. Whatever your noodle is, that's what your noodle. Oh, whoops, forgot one thing. Set our timer, 30 minutes. This is a 30-minute practice session. We're gonna utilize the full 30 minutes. So there we are. I'll start off with my little noodle. Adjustment with my stand here so I can just see a little better what's going on. And I'll bring it a little closer to myself. And the first thing I'm going to do is exactly one of the things I did when I ended, or as I did yesterday, I introduced you to it, It's our diatonic scale ascending, chromatic descending. Eric Ralsky, when he was in the New York Philharmonic, I remember him doing this, and I just really liked the exercise. Scale, yeah, bum 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 bum, chromatic, yeah, da, 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 da. So many thanks to Eric Ralsky for that. Now principal horn in the Metropolitan Opera, but it works equally well on trombone. So here I go in E major. Man, go with me. If you finish that, great. I just messed it up. I'm going to do it one more time. Yeah. All right, F major. I sometimes do a little arpeggio at the end. It's up to you. All right, B major. Yeah. Let's see. D flat. I'll go one more, see how it goes. All right. I'm going to go one more. D major. And okay, good. With the work I did this morning, that's not feeling great. That's okay. It doesn't have to feel great. I'm just working on getting up there. And I'm not really worried about doing scales that have me go up very slowly, getting my aperture contracted, and then dilated again in a slow manner. So now for our Arbin book, one of the things I think it's really, really useful to do here is there's an opening section. In fact, so I'm working out of the Alessi Bowman book. So the version of the Arbin book with Brian Bowman and by Brian Bowman and edited by Brian Bowman and Joseph Alessi. It's they make comments that Mr. Alessi makes for on page 35 that for more advanced players performing exercises 19 through 38 without interruption. I think that's such a great way for us to develop endurance because these exercises, beginning on page 35, number 19, if you're wondering what that is, it's the articulation and style, or sometimes we call it's the articulation and style section in the first studies. It comes just after the dotted eighths and sixteenths in the studies on syncopation. It's such a great way to get in shape because the horn's on your face for a long time when we do these consecutively, but we're also, even though it's on our face, it's nothing too high, nothing too loud, nothing too low, nothing too taxing, other than sort of like holding the equivalent of a moderate weight in various positions for just an extended time. It's an isometric exercise, perfect for getting back our endurance. And so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to start off with number 19. You can play along with me, and I'm going to go as far as I'm comfortable. And Here we go. So, not too fast a tempo. Around yum dun 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 dun. 1, 2, and. One brief reprieve because I need to get my page turner going. My Flick page turner, I didn't have it synced up. So oopsies, that's all right, because we're gonna continue on with number 20. And now that I've got the page turner going, there will be no space in between these. Here we go, number 20. 1, 2, and. Okay, short break to empty the water and to swallow. Hence, yeah, that was a nice big swallow I had to have in the middle of the last one. But that's okay. I am feeling it. I am absolutely feeling it. As I continue, because I'm going to go ahead and do number 28 through 38. But one little point as I do this, whenever I have rests, I'm taking that opportunity to just take the horn off my face, just briefly. I'm not really losing contact of the mouthpiece with the lips, but I'm allowing myself to breathe a little bit to get the circulation back into the lips. So I'm not engaged with the mouthpiece in full engagement the whole time, but I'm allowing myself to disengage, keeping contact with the lips, of course, but a little disengagement before I go back into playing. All right, here we go, number 28 through 38. If you're tired, just fast forward through this, go on to the next section. Or do something else. Or take a break. Or do one and skip one, and do one and skip one. That's perfectly valid. All right, here we go. 1, 2, and. Empty the water. And 1, 2, no. 1, 2, ah. Okay, Uncle, I call it. If you've been playing along with me or watching me play, kudos to you. If you've taken breaks, kudos to you. If you can go further, hey, even more kudos to you. I'm feeling it. So, what do I do when I'm feeling it and I'm still working for endurance? Well, I've had a good endurance workout, but I mentioned how important that Marsteller book is, and I still believe that. So, when we're feeling stiff, when I'm feeling stiff as I am and really pretty shot, I'm going to go ahead and do some Marsteller. So, I'm going to go ahead and go with Marsteller number 1, which is, we did that yesterday. Let's go ahead and do Marsteller number 1. Now 1, let's see. Oh, actually, let me pull up Marsteller number 1 here. Oh, that's right. I have it in my book. And I am right here. And, okay, here, Marsteller. I should say Marsteller Part 3, number 1. I should know this, but I can't remember if it starts at the bottom, if it starts at the top. It starts at the top. Okay. And as we continue. Okay. Just got a low power notice on my phone. All right. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Now Marsteller number 2, a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 9. We're going to go on to some later Marstellers because I find the ones that have us go over more partials, are really helpful. So I'm going to pull the book up and all right, we're going to take a look at advance to number 11. And I do like to go up to the top note on these. So we'll do number 11 first. 1, 2, 1, 2, and. perfect, but the gist of the skill was good. The foundation, the fundamental, looking in my mirror, etc. All right, we're going to go on to the next one, number 12. A little bit lower. I'm going to go a little quicker. A little bit more flexible. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oy vey. 1, 2. You know what? That's just too fast. I'm not ready for it yet. It's only my third day back, so I pushed myself a little too hard in that. I'm just not ready for that skill. That's okay. I'll go back to my original tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah. Okay, I've got about 6 minutes left. I'm going to do another flexibility, another 1 or 2 flexibilities, and then we'll end up with one other task. So I'm moving ahead to, oh yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to do this. Number 13. Actually, no. Number 13. Number 17. Jump ahead to number 17. I know it says repeat. I typically do them 3 times. A 1, a 2, and the 1, 2, Next one, number 18. A 1, 2, Next, we have number 19. A 1, 2, 3, Next one, number 20. This is our last flexibility, because we're going to take 2 minutes to do something else. A 1, 2, Now, I mentioned that was the last flexibility, and there's a reason. With all the work that I've done today with expanding, with getting my aperture larger as I play louder, and soft and smaller as I go higher, one of the things I haven't done is expanded on the soft end. And that requires my aperture and our aperture to be able to get much smaller. This is a good thing to do on the mouthpiece. I'll just take a note and just taper. And if I lose it, that's fine. I'm going to retake the note and I'm going to taper. And I'm going to do everything I can to hold on to that note and to not lose it, to maintain the vibration happening. If I lose it, oh well, that's just life. I'll just do it again. So on a middle F, no attack, or I should say air attack. Bam. Yeah, definitely didn't want to vibrate at that very soft dynamic. Let's do it again. That was better. One more time. And. That really does not want to vibrate. That's okay, because my upper lip is very, very stiff. Let's take the instrument and do the same thing. That's the gist on that middle F. Really bring it down. I'm going to do that again. Let's do that again. Yeah. Good. Once again, last one. Okay. That was imperfect, and that's okay because it's our third day back. So we've accomplished a lot. We've practiced for an hour. We've done some really serious work on building up endurance just by playing for an extended period with those arbans. So as I mentioned, I actually did a little cutaway after I recorded the first unit so I could make that brief commentary at the beginning. If there's anything that I did today that you're doing along with me that doesn't feel good, when I say feel good, it's one thing to be uncomfortable. It's another thing to feel like, hey, this doesn't really feel like a good idea. And what's the difference? I describe something as uncomfortable as you're really working to make it happen, but you're working in a constructive way and you feel like it's constructive work. But if you feel like you're ever just bearing down or playing on your teeth or just squeezing out notes, that is not a constructive way of playing. We use what we sound like as the guide for whether what we're doing is working or not. And if we still like the way we sound, then we can keep doing it, even if it's hard. And certainly in the middle of the arban, I found it challenging. I found my corners getting tired. I found my lips getting tired, but I kept going. And that's the way we build our endurance and stamina back up and get our muscles used to the work that they have to do. They haven't forgotten how to work in the last 2 weeks, but they need a little bit of a reminder, and they need that reminder. I don't know why. I really don't, but I know that they do. And hopefully, by going along with the series, it'll help you get back into shape too. Good luck. Thanks for joining me, and see you tomorrow.